Okay, so my name is Brittany and I'm doing my project over transistors. People use transistors every day in different items, so they don't realize that there's transistors in it. Most people don't even know what transistors are. They're a semiconductor, and they are the backbone of most of the devices we use today. Without a transistor, you wouldn't be able to choose like crushed ice versus cubed ice. You wouldn't be able to choose like what setting on the microwave you want, or even save your contacts in your phone. Without transistors, this world would be very different. Items with transistors have a bunch of information in them, and they help us do the little things that we need to do, and they also do a lot of bigger stuff that we don't realize. During the 21st century, our world kind of revolves around technology, and almost all technology has transistors in it. So we would have a very different world, and everyday objects wouldn't be here if we didn't have transistors. But most people haven't heard of what transistors, and they don't know the three men that created them. In 1947, John Bearden, Walter Brayton, and of AT&T Bell, they worked with William Shockley, who helped them, managed over them to create the transistor. It's a computer history considers it a two closely spaced golden contacts held in place by a plastic wedge by the surface of a small slab of highly purity germanium. So it's like two buttons pretty much, and it chooses, if you press one button, it chooses crushed ice. If you choose the other one, it chooses cubed ice. It's kind of like what tells it to do what. There were semiconductors before, but there were never anything like this before. They actually didn't even have the materials for semiconductors until the 1940s, and this was made in 1947. So it's really an impressive technology within such a short time period. There's transistors known as field effect amplifiers, as well as bipolar junctions, silicone, or metal oxide silicone junctions. So these are all, different types of transistors, and they're all considered conductors. The three people that invented it are important, but you also need to know exactly what it is. They're tiny switches that can be triggered by electrical signals, and that's from Coleman on Live Science. It's used for all electronic devices, and it sends out signals for the specific thing you want to do. So if you want to send a text message, there's a transistor that sends out a message to send a text message. The flow of electricity helps enable or disable the specific action to happen. So the electricity is what causes it to work or not work. You have to have 3 terminals, but it can do only 2 things. It can do at least 2 things. It can do more than that, but it has to do at least 2. So it's like a remote in a TV. You have to press a button to turn it on and turn it off. Those are transistors telling it turn on, turn off. Those are simple devices, and they're called relays because it relays the information to the button to turn it off, or relays a message to turn it on. That's just one type of transistor, one simple transistor. It's also important to know why it's helpful for us today. Without it, we wouldn't have phones, cars, TVs, radios, computers, anything like that. It's very important during the information era because it helps with science, it helps with technology, it helps with so many different things, and it helps us in our everyday lives because we have grown up around technology, and if we didn't have transistors, we wouldn't have the technology we have today, so it would be a completely different world. It's the people that created it, not many people know of them, but they are actually a very big influence because they created something that's so important to us. These 3 guys are really create something important to the entire world. And without them, we don't have this complex but very unique object that makes most of the things we have. So as the transistors continue to change, so will our world and our technology, and we will become a very different world.